तेरी वुसअत को पा सके। अर्ज़ो समा अर्ज़ो समा अर्ज़ो समा कहाँ तेरी वुसअत को पा सके। मेरा ही दिल है वो कि जहां तू समा सके। वो कब देख सकता है उसकी तजल्ली, वो कब देख सकता है उसकी तजल्ली। तजल्ली जिस इंसान ने खुद अपना जलवा न देखा। यार को हमने यार को हमने जा बजा देखा। यार को हमने जा बजा देखा। कहीं जाहिर कहीं ओ कहीं जाहिर कहीं छुपा देखा। यार को हमने जा बजा देखा। ओ यार को हमने ओ यार को हमने यार को हमने जा बजा देखा। कहीं जाहिर कहीं छुपा देखा। यार को हमने ओ यार को हमने यार को हमने जा बजा देखा।
अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि अस्समीउल अलीम मिनश शैतानिर रजीम। बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। Dearest young scholars, you are requested to have a look at it. This is a question. Write a précis of the following passage and also suggest a suitable title. This is a question you are going to attempt in your exam. How many parts of the questions are? Two. The first one is write what? A précis. And number two, suggest a suitable title. Before we attempt this part, writing a précis, I think is a better idea to start with this one. That part is suggest a suitable title. When we say write title of some writing, title of some paragraph, title of some book, title of some editorial, and so on. How can we find the title?
Just go through and see that what this class is all about.
Excellent. This is the way. Now we go through the passage keeping this question in mind. What is the question? That what is the whole writing about? This whole writing can be in the form of paragraph, essay, article, feature, column, editorial, and so on. This is clear?
Yeah.
Now, the question is that how can we understand that what is the passage about? What is the writing about? What makes us understand?
We need to comprehend it.
Excellent. Now, what is to be done? It's we to comprehend this piece of writing. And for comprehension, meanings of the words
Yeah.
and meanings it is not necessary that you should keep yourself busy in consulting dictionaries over and over again. Try to understand the meanings of the words in context. And second is the construction of the sentences. If you are well aware with the ways sentences are constructed, so I think it shall be very easy for you to comprehend it. So if your vocabulary is good enough, and if you are good at English grammar, so I think comprehension shall be no issue. Now, the assignment. This is a passage, go through it. With the intention to comprehend it. And why to comprehend? That this question is to be attempted. The question is, what is this whole writing about? This is the question in your mind. Please peruse it and let me know what is the writing about. Your time starts now.
How much time do we have?
Maximum 5 minutes.
So Taylor, how can children improve their reading speed and comprehension?
There are a couple of very simple things that children can do which will instantly improve both their speed and comprehension. Maybe not drastically, but a small improvement is worth having. The first is that if a child has a reading book or a passage, they should get an overview of it. So if, for example, they have a reading book such as this, they should take in the cover, any text on the back, look at the structure of it, if there's a list of chapters in order, just to get an overview of it, and then where the part that they're reading fits in with the overview. So they get an overview first to get an idea what kind of literature it is, which helps to put it into perspective and aids with comprehension. Now, when it comes to reading, in order to understand what you're reading, it requires a lot of concentration. It means that the child reading the book has to focus only on what they're reading and cannot have other thoughts intruding at that time. Now, that means finding a quiet place, somewhere which is well lit, somewhere where the child can sit comfortably with the book in a convenient position and at a convenient distance, not too close, but not so far that you're straining to read either. Some comfortable distance, and square on rather than tilting. Like if a book is placed on a table, it's probably at the wrong angle unless it's leaning on something so that it's square on to the eyes. So those are, if you like, the ideal conditions for reading: well lit, square on to the eyes, and the ideal distance in an environment where there are no distractions. So that's the environment. Now, to read effectively, sometimes children, well, not only children, but we all end up rereading a line or skipping back and rereading a certain word or parts of a line because we didn't understand it. And that really slows you down with the reading. So it's better, in fact, to keep reading and to not worry about that word or that phrase that you didn't understand. Because what tends to happen is as you read on, it falls into perspective within the context, and then you understand the gist of it, which is the main thing. So the tip is keep reading, don't skip back, and don't reread parts, and that will immediately improve your reading speed. But it also helps to improve your comprehension because you're reading more quickly, so you're taking in whole ideas at a time, if you like. If you read a word at a time, you're doing it wrong. You should be taking in several words at a time. And that means that you get to the end of a sentence, which is one complete idea, that much more quickly. And therefore, there's a better chance that you'll understand the message of the sentence. And then, of course, because you're reading a little bit faster, you're also getting through a paragraph more quickly. and therefore you get the gist of what that paragraph was about. Often children are told not to run their finger along the page because it looks childish. It looks as if they're not advanced or good readers. But in fact, the opposite advice would be more appropriate, is to actually use something in order to follow the lines on the page. And rather than using a finger, which is just a little too broad and short, it's better to use something like a pencil, but use the blunt end so you don't end up marking the book unintentionally. If you use a prop such as a pencil but the blunt end, then you can use that prop to run along the text reasonably quickly and force yourself to keep reading the words line by line, more or less at a steady pace, and don't skip back. So by using the prop, you're preventing yourself from skipping back and you're forcing yourself to keep reading. Now, that not only will make you read more quickly and stop you skipping back, but it also help your eye to focus in the right place, so that rather than trying to find your place by eye, as it were, you have a pointer that helps you to focus your eye where it needs to focus. And that means that their reading is less strenuous on the eye. You'll notice that my prop, the pencil, isn't going from the beginning of the line to the end of the line. It's starting partway along the line and ending, the movement of it is ending before the end of the line. So you're actually only moving the prop about halfway along each line. And that's because you're not literally reading one word at a time. You're actually taking in several words at a time. And this all helps with speed and comprehension of reading. So this is a very simple strategy, using a prop in order to not just find your place, but to keep you moving forward through the text. It's a very simple strategy. And at first it can be disconcerting because you think, oh, wait a minute, I haven't understood that. But that's really only because of bad reading habits that we develop over the years. We become dependent on going back, skipping back, rereading, and things like that. So it takes a bit of time before you adjust to the new way of reading and find that, oh, actually you've understood it very well without the back skipping, and you've understood it more quickly. So this, if children practice it, would be an asset not only in an exam situation where time is tight and you have to read and understand quickly, but it's a life skill too, because we all have to do a lot of reading, and the more quickly and effectively we can do the reading, the more reading we can do, or the less time it will take us to do the necessary reading. So it's a very simple strategy. To sum it up, once you've got your overview, simply use a prop, such as the blunt end of a pencil, in order to run along the line and keep going at more or less a steady pace, and so you don't back skip. And the other thing is, don't try to read and understand one word at a time. You should be taking in several words at a time, and you shouldn't be trying to understand the sentence until you get to the end of it, because the thought is not complete until you've read the whole sentence. And sometimes the point of a sentence isn't obvious until you have read the next couple of sentences, because that puts it into context.
Awesome. Please, the title, no, which you suggest.
I suggested 3 actually, sir.
3, okay. The first one?
First one was a book worth reading.
Very good. A book worth reading.
Yeah.
You suggest this is the appropriate title.
Second one was in the form of a question.
Okay.
What defines a good book?
Excellent. What defines a good book? Okay.
Third one also like a phrase, attention catching book.
Very good. Attention, grabbing book. Very good. Love you, my son. So when you suggest this title, so you are saying that this paragraph gives the detail, or it describes that what is a book which is worth reading. If some books contains these traits, these qualities, that book can be defined as a good book? Well done, gentlemen. So a book worth reading, or what defines a good book, or no attention, no grabbing book? Well done. MashaAllah. Please.
Characteristics of a good book.
Very good. Now, Mr. Atif is of opinion that this paragraph, the whole writing is about what? The characteristics of a good book. What?
The rest of good book, yeah.
So this was not simply good book, this was the test of a good book. No, over here, this one, point number 2 of Mr. Asim, it is more accurate. What defines a good book? So these are the things which define that some book is a good book. Oh, this, if you want to test some books, so what is tested? Number 1, is the reader is ready to read it again? Clear? Like that, So this was basically, the test of a good book. Now, question, again, this is accurate.
Alright.
See, the test of a great book is, so again, even it is over there.
Yeah, it is.
This is the answer, Clear?
Yeah.
The second passage now. Go through it with the intention to comprehend it and keeping the question in mind. And what that question? What is the whole writing about? You ready?
Yes.
Maximum 4 minutes you have, and 4 means 4. Please.
Reading comprehension strategies. Reading comprehension strategies are plans or steps that good readers use to understand what they are reading. These strategies come more naturally for some readers than others, but every student can benefit from consciously practicing these strategies when reading during tutoring. There are many strategies readers use when understanding text. In this video, we will cover 4 important ones: making connections, retelling, asking questions, and making predictions. To make these important strategies more concrete, let's look at how we could use them when reading The 3 Little Pigs with a student. Making connections. When good readers make connections, they hook new information from a text to information they already know. When this happens, learning and understanding take place. When you are working with an emerging reader, you can ask them specific questions throughout the book to help them make these connections. Eventually, they will learn to do this automatically. Readers can make connections in 3 different ways. Text to self. How would you feel if the wolf was trying to get in your house? Has something like this ever happened in your life? Are you like any of the characters in The 3 Little Pigs? Text to text. Have you ever read another book with pictures like these? Have you ever read another book about pigs? Does the wolf remind you of any other characters from a different story? Text to world. Have you ever heard of anything like this happening in real life? Have you ever seen someone do this? Have you ever been to a house made of straw, wood, or bricks? At first, it may seem unnatural to interrupt a reader to ask these questions. However, you will quickly see how periodically prompting readers with questions will increase reading comprehension. Use your best judgment to know how often to ask questions while a student is reading. Retelling. Retelling occurs when a reader can describe the important parts of a story in his own words. Different students may retell the same story in different ways, and this is fine as long as the reader can identify the main idea and key events in a story. You can help a young reader retell a story by asking questions like, what was the most important thing that happened in the story? Did this story teach us a lesson? What happened next? And after that? Having the student draw a picture of the main events of a story in the correct order is another way to promote this strategy. Listening to a reader retell a story will allow you to quickly assess her understanding of the text. Asking questions. Good readers ask lots of questions while they are reading. Sometimes the questions come up because they don't understand something mentioned in a story. Sometimes a question occurs because a trigger in the book piques a reader's curiosity. When reading with a student, it is a good idea to encourage the student to write down any questions that occur in a journal or reader's notebook. Some examples of questions may be things like, I wonder why the wolf wanted to get into the pigs' houses. Why did some of the pigs buy straw and wood instead of bricks? What does the word huffed mean? Asking questions while reading promotes reading comprehension because it gives a purpose for reading the book and it can make reading much more interesting. Making predictions. Making predictions about what will happen next in a story can help keep readers interested in the text. It can be fun to check their predictions as the text unfolds. You can help a reader make predictions by asking questions like, is this story fiction or nonfiction, real or pretend for very young students? What do you think will happen next? Do you think the wolf will be a good guy or a bad guy in the end? It can be fun for you and your student to jot down your predictions in a journal. At the end, you can check to see if your predictions were correct. Predicting what will happen next evaluates a student's ability to understand clues from the text to draw conclusions. When most of a student's predictions are correct, or at least reasonable, you know that the reader understands the text. Reading comprehension can be very tricky for struggling readers. However, being deliberate about using these reading strategies can increase both reading comprehension and overall enjoyment of reading. The more a student practices, the more she will be able to use these strategies automatically, almost without thinking about them. This will, in turn, lead to a better understanding of all school subjects and areas of study. Happy reading!
Please, the title you suggest, suggest. Ji.
No complaint and no demanding friend.
No
Complaint and no demanding friend.
What's that?
A book.
A book, no. So you can say a book is no demanding and no complaining friend. Good. A book.
Yeah.
A book is no demanding and no complaining what friend. Correct. Ji.
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcoming friend in all times.
Which friend?
A welcoming
Very good. No, a welcoming friend
of all times.
of all times. Okay.
Book always ready to book.
Very good. No,
That was good, sir.
a book is always
It's like a joke.
always ready to
Broke.
hook.
Yeah.
Ah, very good. Good idea.
Yeah.
Ask him better.
Okay. I got two here. Okay. My first one is a good book
A good book
is never less than a better half.
is never less than a better half. Okay.
Okay. The second one was a very simple one. A good book is a companion of all ages.
Is a companion of
All ages.
is a companion of all
Ages.
ages. Anybody else?
Yes, sir. A good book is one of our best friends.
This is no.
Yes, sir.
Faisal. Okay. Then you can say it's okay.
Yeah.
A welcome friend of all time is okay.
Yeah.
All time. No, see, all time. Whether you're talking about youth, you're talking about old age, you're talking about adversity,
Good and bad.
this can be the title. It's okay.
Exactly.
A book is always ready to hook. Again, how? There's no such thing that it always that hooks you. No, it is not. No, such things is not there. No. See, a good book is never
Less than a better half.
better off. Again, just for the amusement you can enjoy it. Otherwise, no, you can't take that any concept from that. No. See, this one is the best one. No, is a companion of all ages. Ages. If you say all times, then it's okay.
Yeah.
Because times includes age as well and different occasions, and circumstances, and occasions, etc. Points clear? So these two, they make sense, Keep in mind that as far as title is concerned, there is not one fixed title, Concept is the same, but you have different words. So you know that 1, 2, and that number 3. So any one of them. Even you can replace with some other phrase. Just to convey the same meaning. Gentlemen, number 3. This is a piece of writing, number 3. Go through it. And suggest some suitable title. How to find that? Comprehend it and let me know what is the passage about.
Hello everyone, welcome to Talent Sprint. I'm Sylvia and I'm here to share your daily dose on verbal aptitude. In this video, we will look at 4 strategies to master reading comprehension skills. Now, why is this important? Well, imagine if you can't make out words and understand context, how will you ever be able to contribute effectively while speaking and writing? So you will find it extremely challenging to follow questions during your examination, or you'll find it extremely difficult to understand context and interpret the meaning that the context is trying to convey. So what do we do to master reading comprehension skills? Well, that's exactly what we'll discover now. So by the end of this video, you would have learned the 4 strategies to master reading comprehension skills. Our first strategy is called skimming. What does skimming mean? To have a quick read. So when you do this, you're able to identify what the main theme or message that the passage is trying to convey. So in skimming, you understand context as a whole. The second strategy that you can apply is scanning. You scan for specific details. Is there a problem addressed? Are there reasons mentioned? Is there a solution provided? Who are the key players? Does it require or does it talk about any follow-up action plans? So while scanning the passage, what you're trying to do is you're condensing essential information and making it easier for you to answer questions appropriately. The third strategy that you can apply to master reading comprehension skills is to analyze positive or negative detail. Well, you'll come across questions like, according to the passage, what is true? Or according to the passage, what is not true? So you'll need to be familiar to analyze passage for positive and negative detail and read between the lines. The fourth strategy that you need to apply to master reading comprehension skills is expand your vocabulary. So knowledge on words and applying their meanings go a long way in improving your reading skills and your comprehension skills. So questions pertaining to synonyms and antonyms will no longer pose a challenge. So remember these 4 strategies: skim, scan, analyze for positive or negative detail, and expand your vocabulary. So I'm positive when you apply these strategies, reading comprehension would be a breeze.
Asim suggests 4 titles. Any one of them can be, or all 4 of them can be. If we live once, what it come. Then there is no self-assessment of our lives. Then there is no have we really lived, beautiful point, then purpose of our life. Atif. So Atif suggests that 4 titles. Number 1, accountability of our life. Number 2, real meaning of life. Number 3, about the life. And number 4, difference between living and passing lives. Beautiful. Ji, Faisal.
If you live for others.
Very good. Life is a life if you live for others. Okay? Very good. Now, what's that? Life is to be lived and not wasted. How simple that is, no? Someone said it over here, no? This is, no? This is the best one, no? Difference between living a life and passing a life. Love you, my son, no? You know that it's you to suggest a title. And how the title is suggested, that we go through the passage, we comprehend it, and then we write our comprehension in one phrase or in one sentence now. Any question? No. There's some assignment, no. The first assignment is now that it's you to read the newspaper and it's you to highlight what the main points or the main ideas and supporting details against each main idea. It's you to make a list. You can write on a separate page or you can bring that piece of writing with proper highlights. What is to be done with these what is to be done with these highlighted that you can say sentences? We shall learn how to abridge sentences now. What's clear? Abridgement of sentences.
From the newspaper.
From the newspaper, and we shall discuss all those sentences over here and we shall convert 2 into 1. 3 sentences into 1 sentence. 4 sentences into 1. What's clear?
Yes, sir.
First assignment and you know that we have skipped one of the 4 devices, and that was abridgment. We have done the first device is replacement of group of word with one word.
Single word.
Second, what is to be done with the supporting details? There were 3 points. Eliminate them or
Specific one.
clear. Third one was that leave the less important and keep the more important. There were 3 points for there. And then the third point was there that it's we not to use ornamental language. It's we not to write in figurative language. Write as simple as possible. What's clear? And the 4 devices, abridgement of sentences and how the sentences can be abridged we shall discuss tomorrow inshallah. And for that it's you to bring those highlighted articles, passages, etc. It's you to select minimum 3 paragraphs from the newspaper. 3 paragraphs. And it's you to suggest title for each paragraph. Read the paragraph and suggest the title. This point is clear? Any question?
No.
Thank you very much. See you tomorrow inshallah.
कहीं वो दर लिबास माशूका, कहीं वो दर लिबास माशूका, बरसरे नाज और अदा देखा, बरसरे नाज, ओ बरसरे नाज और अदा देखा, यार को हमने जा बजा देखा, कहीं जाहिर कहीं छुपा देखा, यार को हमने, ओ यार को हमने जा बजा देखा। यार को हमने ओ यार को हमने जा बचा देखा कहीं जाहिर कहीं जाहिर कहीं छुपा देखा यार को हमने ओ यार को हमने जा बचा देखा जिनको साईं रंग दिया जिनको साईं रंग दिया तो भी न हो इन दिन बौलियों गुरी चढ़े सवाया रंग यार को हम यार को हम यार को हम जा बचा देखा कहीं जाहिर कहीं जाहिर कहीं जाहिर कहीं छुपा देखा यार को हमने और यार को हमने यार को हमने जा बचा देखा आओ सखी मिल चौसर खेले आओ सखी सखी आओ सखी मिल चौसर खेले आओ सखी मिल चौसर खेले आओ सखी मिल चौसर खेले सोपी अपने के साथ जीतूं तो पिया मिलेंगे हारूं तो पी के हाथ यार को हम ओ यार को हम ओ यार को हमने जा बचा देखा यार को ओ यार को हमने जा बचा देखा कहीं जाहिर कहीं जाहिर कहीं छुपा देखा यार को हमने कहीं वो बादशाह तक नशी